Did you know that your most devastating power as a man is wasted with every uncontrollable ejaculation? Once they controlled you with a mere look, a Mona silence, a delayed response. The illusion of power they had over you was never real. It fed on your own exhaustion, consuming itself in a pulverized dopamine rush. Hungry for meaning, you've handed over the keys to your emotional thermostat. Every time you've spilled your seed, you've spilled your strength, your clarity, your boldness. But now, something is shifting slowly and powerfully. You feel it in your spine, in your presence, in your serene silence. You're no longer reacting, no longer chasing validation. Because the practice of semen retention isn't just about avoiding ejaculation. It's about reclaiming your energetic sovereignty. It's the conscious refusal to be manipulated by desire, guilt, or emotional chaos. And here's what no one wants to admit. When your aura of semen retention begins to develop, women sense it. They sense it in your stillness, in your gaze, in your lack of desire, in the way you don't back down when they try to test your emotional boundaries. This invisible energy, this retained male life force, acts like a firewall, blocking manipulation, canceling drama, and neutralizing seduction. Why? Because women, consciously or unconsciously, know that a man who protects his seed, protects his soul, is unavailable for games, and is not an emotional slave. As soon as they perceive this, they lose their influence. Not because you hate women, but because you have become aware of your higher purpose. You are now living for something eternal, something sacred. Brothers, listen carefully. This is your battle cry to Osanido. You have been told that being emotionally available means letting others take your peace. You've been told that real men always apologize, always give in, always follow through. No. Real men have mastered the art of spiritual discipline, and semen retention is the discipline that sets the chain reaction in motion. By withholding your seed, you maintain your structure. And by maintaining that structure, you become immune to emotional control tactics. Let's talk science for a moment. Every ejaculation releases massive amounts of dopamine, prolactin, and oxytocin. These chemicals, released too frequently, decrease your basic motivation, weaken your decision-making ability, and dull your emotional acuity. This is precisely what leads to submissive behavior, excessive emotional availability, over-forgiveness, a lack of accountability, and seeking validation from women who have done nothing to deserve your presence. But with seminal retention, your dopamine resets, your prolactin drops, your testosterone increases, and your mind begins to see clearly. Suddenly, manipulation tactics no longer work. Guilt trips no longer affect you. Hot and cold messages no longer destabilize you. You become a mountain, not a river. Women are no longer used to it. Men today are emotionally like jelly, reactive, insecure, and addicted to approval. But a man who practices semen retention becomes rare, sacred. His silence is intimidating. His demands are unwavering. His time is precious. And this is precisely what triggers emotional panic in women, accustomed to manipulating him with their feminine energy. When she realizes that her beauty no longer touches you the way it used to, when she sees that you are focused on building, working, praying, and growing, she loses control. She begins to wonder, what happened? Why is he so calm? Why doesn't he pursue you anymore? The answer is simple. Your aura of seminal retention has grown. It has expanded beyond desire, fear, and emotional bondage. Now protect your mind like armor. You walk into a room and people feel something, not because you said something flashy, but because your energy is focused, contained, and pure. It's this aura that women can't read. They sense it, and their emotional manipulation mechanisms short-circuit. Remember this. Modern society thrives on emotionally reactive men. They sell you songs, advertisements, and movies designed to make you chase women for validation. Because the more you chase, the more you buy. But semen retention breaks that matrix, reconnects you to your mission, raises your standards, reprograms your nervous system, and you stop needing attention and start demanding respect. Women are losing their emotional influence because they can no longer blame, provoke, or shame you into submission. They no longer control your nervous system. You do. You no longer wait for their apologies to make you feel complete. You no longer send paragraphs of messages to be understood. You understand yourself, and that's enough. This shift is so profound, so energetic, that it is impossible to fake. You cannot fake an aura of seminal retention. You either carry it in your frequency or you do not. It is built in solitude, forged in discipline, ignited by the focus of celibacy, purified by prayer, determination, and perseverance. And once activated, no woman, not even the most beautiful, seductive, or prestigious, can emotionally dominate you. Because you are now dealing with a man, not a child. A king, a puppet, a leader, a man who walks with divine energy. Because he refuses to waste it. This isn't misogyny, it's male sovereignty. If you think this makes you emotionally unavailable, you've misunderstood. Refusing to donate sperm doesn't make you cold. It makes you clear. You still feel love, but you love with discipline. You walk with wisdom. You serve with standards. Women actually feel safer around such men. Why? Because you're not manipulative. You're not addicted to attention. You're not emotionally fragile. You're the calm in his storm. And that calm is terrifying to those who rely on emotional chaos to control men. They don't know how to handle a man who won't back down. A man who can maintain eye contact without sexual desperation. A man who doesn't respond to messages instantly. A man who says no with determination. A man who isn't afraid to walk away. This is the man semen retention creates, and the world needs him. Women need him, even if they fear him, because he represents the truth. The truth sets everyone free, but only if you have the courage to live it. When your semen retention aura grows, it begins to have a dangerous effect on the system. It resets the power dynamic. For decades, men have been emotionally domesticated, rewarded for their gentleness, celebrated for their dependency, manipulated into indulging in sex, shame, and silence. But a man who holds back is different. He no longer follows his script. His gaze is no longer pleading. His soul is no longer hungry. He has tasted the sacred fire of self-control, and there is no turning back. Once women tested him. He gave in, broke down, and apologized. Now when they test him, he breathes deeper. She smiles not out of weakness, but because she sees the pattern. The old tactics no longer work. The silence game is useless. The lure of jealousy is impotent. Threats to leave are laughable. Because when your life is driven by mission, not women, you become invincible in the face of emotional sabotage. You see, women try because they need to feel your strength. They want to know they can't be tossed around like a leaf in the wind. But almost all men today fail these tests miserably. They bend, cry, chase, and compromise their integrity to gain temporary affection. Seminal retention completely reprograms all of this. We stop reacting, we start observing. We stop testing, we take the reins. This change drives manipulators crazy. They can't manipulate you when you're grounded. They can't guilt trip you when you're innocent. They can't seduce you when your desire is controlled. The aura of seminal retention isn't just sexual, it's spiritual. It's what the Bible calls the full armor of God. This is what the Bhagavad Gita describes as Dhisita Proshna, a man of constant wisdom, impervious to pain or pleasure. By cultivating this aura, you no longer run after Eve. You walk with Christ. You are no longer hypnotized by Maya. You are in harmony with Krishna. This is not religion. It is remembering who you were before lust, before sorrow, before emotional manipulation. You were born to rule, but you were trained to beg. You were born to lead, but you were trained to follow. You were born to create, but you were trained to consume. And every time you ejaculated without reason, you gave them more control. Now the chain is breaking. Your aura becomes untouchable. Women can sense it. Their words soften, their energy shifts. They begin to ask for your time, not the other way around. They question themselves instead of making you doubt your worth. And here's the secret. They secretly seek this energy because they respect it. They trust it. And even though it may scare them at first, it also awakens the divine feminine within them. It invites them to rediscover their natural polarity. Because your energy is so stable, so sacred, so grounded, that it allows them to relinquish their need for emotional domination. This is what ancient relationships were based on: masculine anchoring and feminine receptivity. But modern relationships are based on manipulation, testing, and insecurity. Semen retention isn't just a physical trick. It's a spiritual rebellion against the emotional chaos that has infected intimacy. Starting today, Restore order to your nervous system, and that order will spread like wildfire. Friends, colleagues, wives, and even strangers will begin to react differently to you. Not because you speak louder, but because your presence speaks before you even open your mouth. That's the gift of retention. It restores your invisible power, the same power you relinquished when you made orgasm your god. This power is not angry. It is awakened. It sees emotional games for what they are. It honors women but bows to none. It respects emotions but obeys the truth. It listens but is not swayed by drama. And this creates a dilemma in the minds of emotionally manipulative women. How do I control an elusive man? How do I punish a man who isn't afraid of losing me? How do I conquer a man who is already whole? The answer is that they can't. And as soon as they realize this, their energy shifts. Some will flee, some will capitulate, some will evolve, but you remain steadfast. For feminine restraint has taught you that uncontrolled love is divine. But love based on emotional influence is a slow spiritual death. It is not love. It is slavery. You no longer trade peace for intimacy. You no longer beg for feminine approval. You no longer live for external validation. You live for God, for mission, for legacy. This is masculine rebirth. It's not loud. Oh, it's not flashy. It's disciplined. It's sober, it's sacred, and the world is dying for momentum. So when you walk into a room and feel its energy shift, don't be surprised. When he looks back at you, pause before responding or lower your voice. Stay firm, stay present. He senses your aura of retention. He realizes he can no longer play the game he used to. He either rises to meet your frequency or he collapses, but you continue to rise. This is how spiritual masculinity works. You do not pursue what God has not ordained. You do not cling to what God has removed. You don't pray for what lies behind your goal. And seminal withholding is the flame that burns away these illusions. The more you cling, the brighter your aura glows. The brighter your aura glows, the more clearly you see the manipulation. The more clearly you see the manipulation, the less it works. The less it works, the more powerful you become. And the more powerful you become, the more emotionally free you are. Not from love, but from dependence. Not from femininity, but from submission. You become the immutable pillar she respects, even if she doesn't understand you. And she does. Being immutable doesn't mean being cruel. It means being consecrated, set apart, dedicated to something eternal. And it's frightening for those who have only known control through chaos. So when your aura of seminal retention grows and women lose their emotional influence, it's not a tragedy. It's a purification, a reorganization, a revelation. The wheat is separated from the chaff. The real ones will remain. The actors will disappear. And you will march toward your destiny. Because you will no longer be playing emotional ping pong. You build cathedrals with your time. You build nations with your thoughts. You build kingdoms with your seeds. This is humanity's forgotten gospel. The ancient path, the narrow path. And every step you take along it will make your aura more vivid, stronger, more sovereign. So hold on, keep rising, keep shining, and never forget that the day you stopped chasing, you became the prize. The day you stopped spilling your semen, your soul began to heal. The day you stopped reacting, your spiritual masculinity was born. Semen retention isn't just retention, it's resurrection. Now your aura grows day by day, expanding like an invisible field that changes the atmosphere around you. Each day you avoid wasting your seed. You reclaim fragments of your will, regain your clarity, and strengthen your awareness. This silent force allows you to enter a room and be the center of attention without saying a word. You feel in your breathing the sacred rhythm that guides your firm and thoughtful step. Your gaze is no longer a gesture of need, but a reflection of that inner essence that vibrates within you. With each wave of energy you hold in reserve, you discover dimensions of creativity that previously seemed dormant. Your projects are born from an inner fire that is not extinguished by doubt or distraction. Your focus becomes sharper than a sword. Your discipline becomes a daily ritual, and your heart beats to the rhythm of a mission that drives you relentlessly. External voices fade, judgments fade, and your inner compass defines what deserves your attention and what doesn't. In contact with women, there is no longer any disordered impulse. There is a magnetic pole that invites them to reveal their own authenticity. They perceive your tranquility and awaken their own balance. Someone who knows you well might be surprised by your transformation, but almost everyone senses the change in the air. In the meaningful pauses you allow, you no longer react to every stimulus. You respond to your inner code. This seed-holding practice connects your roots to your spiritual peak. It's a silent pact with life that restores your hormonal harmony and emotional stability. It's not about repressing, but about channeling the inner volcano to build inner and outer spheres. As you keep this flame burning, your aura will radiate more. Your presence will be a magnet for authenticity, and your energy will be an inexhaustible treasure. This devastating power within you never loses itself. It reinvents itself with every heartbeat, with every moment of self-control, with every look you define with your newfound sovereignty.